All right, so here we are. We're getting started this morning. I'm Cece Summerfield. How are you guys all doing? It's Thursday, and I'm doing one of my live and local via Zoom for the first time. And I'm here with Pam Girardi of Brighton Legal Services. And she's going to be talking to us today about advanced healthcare directives. I think this is a really important subject at this time since we're all going through the same thing here. And Pam, what can you tell us? Let's get started with you.
Cece, thank you so much for having me. I know there's a lot of worry and frustration out there, as if life wasn't already hard enough. We've got to add all this onto it. And I've been dying to get out there and help people because there are things that need to happen quickly, and I would have been out sooner, but my transition to the virtual world has been a little challenging for me. And, I'm pretty sure I was the last person, at least the last person my age, to get a smartphone in Southern California, kicking and screaming, So, but trust me that I'm completely on board now. I'm really excited about it, and I regret having ignored technology for this long.
Right.
It's not a choice anymore, so here we go. So Cece and I wanted to talk today about healthcare directives. They're really important, especially now. And the good news is I'm going to help you today, give you a way to put one in place easily and for free.
Okay, so we've all heard of healthcare directives. Can you explain what they are and why we need them and why they're so important?
Right. Well, let me start with posing a few questions to you. If you were to be hospitalized today and someone had to make healthcare decisions for you, who would it be? And do they know what you want? And do they have the legal authority to make decisions for you?
Well, I'm not married, and so I have minor kids, and I don't know if they're ready to make those kind of decisions. So I guess it would probably be my sister, or like I would put my mom in place, but I don't know that she's going to live longer than me.
Well, exactly. And you say put her in place, but I'm asking, do you know, without having anything in place, who would be making these decisions? So these are one of the things that we have to think about. And you mentioned that you're not married, and a lot of people believe that if they are married, then automatically their spouse has the authority to make those decisions. And that's actually a myth. In California, that's not the case. We are one of the few states that that doesn't have in place a law that says exactly who will speak to you if you're not around to make healthcare decisions. In the absence of actually naming somebody, the healthcare providers that are taking care of you, they have to identify somebody as the appropriate surrogate decision maker here in California. And they look to close family, and in certain circumstances maybe even close friends. And that's kind of been the way they do it, but there's no hierarchy. There's no spouse, parent, that you might imagine there would be. So yeah, so they rely on sort of a factual situations, like they consider who's in the best position to know what your wishes might be, who would be most affected, and there's a long list, and they have to do this whole factual and figure out who it should be, right? So you can see how the healthcare provider might make a different decision than you when it comes to selecting someone. They don't know you, and they have to use certain criteria. And even if they manage to actually pick the person you would pick, it can be challenged by other family members if they don't like the decisions that surrogate decision maker is making, and they can take it to court, and it can be a really big and ugly scene.
So does that happen very often?
Well, it happens more often than you'd think. I spent 18 years in-house legal counsel for the Scripps hospital systems, and so I got to actually see this happening. Until I was there, I had no idea. So often the spouse would be the person. They would say, like, I know, let me say, like, one of the things that happens most often is life-sustaining treatment, right? Do you want to have your life prolonged by machines? And oftentimes a spouse will know that absolutely not. My partner would never have wanted that to happen. But then the parents step in, and they may, for religious reasons, or they may just have a hard time letting go. They're a different generation, and they're upset when the spouse says that they would like to withdraw treatment, and they go to court, get an injunction and stop it from happening. And it's fairly easy to get an injunction, because what is a court going to do? You know, if a decision has to be made, you have to keep them alive, and it can take years, and it can be really expensive, and tears families apart. So, and even, you know, when it doesn't come down to that, just the smaller decision-making things, like, you know, especially situations where maybe you had a friend and you would have picked that person to do it, and you're in the hospital and they go to your parents, and they're making all sorts of decisions. They're going to move you away. They're going to do things completely differently than you would have wanted, and nothing anybody can do. And it's really sad. Yeah,
that is really sad. It sounds terrible. I can think of a few people I would not want making decisions for me.
Right. And you have no guarantee, unless you name an agent, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So what exactly is a healthcare directive, and how do we get one?
Okay. So in California, we use a document called the Advanced Healthcare Directive, and it serves two functions. And you're probably more familiar with, it used to be called a power of attorney for healthcare, or and a living will. And those are probably what you've heard of before. California has combined them into one document. So the power of attorney for healthcare names an agent. So that is just somebody who absolutely has the authority to make medical decisions for you. It is similar, maybe you've heard of a power of attorney for financial affairs, a general power of attorney. That's the same kind of thing. This is just, it only relates to healthcare decisions. And then the other document, the living will, is actually where you state your own wishes. So it's so if you know for sure that you wouldn't want to have your life prolonged, you know, you can state that in there. And the agent, whoever you name as an agent, has to actually make decisions in accordance with your wishes. And so you imagine that if you have both your wishes stated and somebody who has got clear authority, it keeps you out of court, because they really have no argument. And so it clears all that kind of stuff up.
Okay, well, that sounds great. But what if we have questions about the form?
Oh, well, yes, let me tell you. So first of all, the good news is that this is the kind of form that you can do yourself. And I had hoped to have a clear link to send you to today. And the way everything is going, they're a little bit delayed. So I hope to have it at least sometime.
Sorry, kids in the background, we're working from home. It's okay.
Mine are still asleep for a while, yeah. So I hope to have it in the next couple of days, and Cece and I will both share the link to it.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you can also email me, and we'll give you my email today. And
I'll post that in the comments below, by the way, Pam. So after this video finishes, we'll have her email posted in the comments so you guys can see it.
Okay. And then and so if you want to make sure that you don't miss it on Facebook, or you feel like you need to get it done right away, then email me, and I will help you out with that.
Great.
So basically the form, it doesn't need to be notarized, which is good news, but it does need to be witnessed by 2 adults. One of which can't be one of your relatives, which is a little tricky in these times, but you can figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And
great. So once we complete the advanced health directive, what is it then? Do we file it? What happens to it then?
Yeah. And first I want to mention, I think the form is fairly straightforward, but I have questions about everything. And I noticed that, with technology, it's all very confusing to me. And so I understand if legal ease sometimes is that way. So I'm going to set up a weekly Zoom meeting for the next few weeks. So if you have any questions about that, you can jump on and I'll answer all your questions there.
Oh, that'll be great.
Yeah. And so once you have the documents completed, and I also want to say that if you have kids who are 18, have them sign the forms too, because most people think that they can actually make decisions for their children, but once they turn 18, that's not automatic
anymore. Yeah,
you need to have that in place, and they should have that anyway. So once you get it done, you want to print it out. You want to give it to the person you name as agent, and as a secondary agent, so make sure that they have it, and give it to your primary care doctor, and then keep copies around so that if you end up going to the hospital, bring it with you, because they try to integrate our medical records, and you're hopeful that they can find it, but be an advocate for yourself. Make sure you have it when you get to the hospital so that you can hand it to them.
Okay, well, that's great. Are there any other steps that you want to mention, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, real quick, that's one step. There are a lot of other things that need to be done, and so it's
People
nice
can contact you and get that done.
yeah. Well. What I really want to say is that yeah, I'm going to do a webinar that will provide tons of education. So it's free. You can listen to it and then educate yourself and see what it is you think you might need.
Great.
That's coming up on April 21st, and if you send me your email, I'll make sure you get invited.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Pam, for taking the time to explain that today. And for those of you who feel you need a healthcare directive, you know where to go now. And I love this because Pam is local to Ocean Beach and one of our community members here, and doing a great job helping people out. So thanks everybody for joining me today, and I will get better at this Zoom with this live thing because I know I'm gonna have to do it again and again. And it's kind of cool. One thing I am not seeing on here, and so if I haven't seen your comments, I'm sorry. Hi to everybody who is watching, and I will figure out how to be able to comment during the live video. But look out for Pam's email in the comments, and if you have any other questions, you know how to reach her, and I'm always here to help too on the real estate end of things. And you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks, Pam. Bye.